of course, aren't here yet. But the first three are there, and the one after her has had like 7 kids in like 12 years. And I would see a group of poor-looking people that I could pick out who somebody was. You know, I was poor people, but I didn't know when they were poor people. They put the photo. The living room was the only floor. There was 2 rooms. The living room, you slept in the corner, and then the kitchen. The kitchen was nothing more than a screened-in porch that they just put a stove and a sink in, and floor, wood floor. I mean, a dirt floor.
Something else that they were focused on, I mean, had to be. Well, that they have seen an accelerated rise of cancer disease. But depending on who you talk to, they say correlation between the causation of cardiac.
Holding out for 4 people.
Who are we
They
waiting
said they
on?
were coming.
Who are we waiting for?
I'm only waiting 2 more minutes, that's all.
Here you go, Sissy.
There you go.
I know y'all got my stuff anyway.
Here on the other side of the house.
See, you thought it was just me. I'm like, well, yeah, Martha said she's not coming. She's gonna come. I don't know.
To the left.
I was gonna make my husband go to the shoes. Let's see if he has anything that he'd be willing to part ways with, because he got a whole shit back to himself. In my little teeny tiny hotel thing. See if people notice this.
Trump.
Yeah, look, so I'm like, I saw it from there.
I had that one. I've also gotten the keychain.
Oh.
Okay. Still having your lipstick on.
Yeah, I have to. So, okay, what's the first one? What were you gonna do there?
2 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. Well, technically we do.
Well, yeah, but not the,
Yeah, I know.
you knew what I'm saying.
You've been asked something? I mean, I understand the CRTP. Oh, you mean like that's the mandate from the school, right? Okay. For a reason? That's their call. But that's only because I have a friend on the app that I'm on that I talk with lots of people around the world on Clubhouse who identifies as a furry. He identifies as a wolf. So he's been educating me on what that means. It was bizarre at first, but I'm like, okay. Oh yeah, they have hotels, they have conventions, they growl, they bark. It depends on what kind of animal they identify as. I'm like, Jesus, take the whole, never mind the wheel, take the whole car.
Can you hear me?
Um,
Can you hear me? Nope. This has the audio.
Hello?
yes.
Don't do this.
You talk with your hands, you can hear me.
You have to use one hand system.
Okay?
I'm sorry, there's a lot of scotch in it, okay?
One hand.
Hey, look, my temper shows it. Good evening, ladies.
Evening.
Welcome, gentlemen. This is the October meeting of the Kershaw County Republican Women's Club. Henry's gonna kill me.
Yeah, kids are like you bite them.
Okay. We will have our invocation, and that will be by Paulette Burr. Yes, you got volunteered, but I'm gonna let you volunteer for sometime soon.
Let us bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today, unify us as one so that we will have a voice to make a difference in our community, that we will come together, that you will give us strength, you will give us wisdom, you will give us guidance, you will give us protection, so that we can make a big difference in our community and in our nation, become one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not for one, not for a few, but for all. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, if you'll pull out your, creeds, we'll read that and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've got that somewhere, okay. Let's pledge of allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we will, if you've got the creed, if you didn't, there's some by the back door. We will now recite it. I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon. If I seek opportunity, not security, I want to take the calculated risk to dream and build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter duplicity for dole. I prefer the challenges of life to guaranteed security. the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for benevolence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefits of my creation, to face the whole world boldly and say, I am a free American. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We want to welcome our elected officials. We have Senator Henry Gustafson with us this evening. And Mr. Mark Surrey is already on the school board, so he is an incumbent. He is with us this evening. And we are going to get straight to everything. And I'm going to ask Senator Gustafson to come up and introduce to you our moderator for the evening.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. Our moderator tonight is Mrs. Janice Caldwell. She has been involved with the South Carolina political party, the GOP, our local Kershaw County GOP, for years. She's a former chairman of the Kershaw County GOP. She and her husband Leonard own Body Shop on number 1. Can't miss it. It's been there a long time, so if you get in an accident or something, please do use her, because they are fantastic. She's joined tonight with her granddaughter and her daughter, and she actually has a really large family, but good to see y'all here. Janice is one of the nicest people I know, truly. She's very calm, very fair, very smart. So she's a perfect moderator. So let's welcome her. Thank you so much for doing this with this group tonight, Janice.
Right to my mouth or right in front of it?
To your mouth.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, to your mouth.
Okay, that works. And I'm going to come up this way so that I can use the corner of your table just a little bit. Ah, Dallas, I forgot my phone. Do you see my phone there? It might be in my purse. It's wiggling. Okay, first off, we want to thank each and every one of you for being here. From what I understand, we are on Facebook Live, which makes me scared to death. No, we're not. Yay! Anyway, this. Okay, this tonight is very important. I wish more people had been here. This is our chance to get to meet these people that want to represent us, and that is very, very, very important. Did you find it? Dallas, did you find my phone? Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. I want to thank Sissy for asking me to totally make a fool of myself. But anyway, we have several here tonight. Like I said, we want to thank them for being here tonight. We are going to start with the City Council. We have 2 candidates here tonight. If we can get Hamilton Boykin to come up front and Maggie May to come up front. Our format tonight is each one of you will get 3 minutes to make a statement. Then we will have a little bit of questions and answers. You two don't have the thrill of having your questions on a piece of paper that I'm going to pull. The 2 of you will actually take questions from the audience. Okay, they are both running for City Council. Maggie May is a write-in candidate, and I'm sure she will take the time to explain how that's done. Okay, a little bit about Maggie May.
I don't mind doing that.
You don't?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Would you like me to?
I will let you do it. Go right ahead, Miss Maggie May.
Thank you so much for having me here this evening. I'm Dr. Maggie May. I grew up here in Camden, South Carolina. I graduated Camden High in 2006. There's a string of educational opportunities that I've been very fortunate enough to do. I recently finished my doctorate from NC State University with a community college leadership focus. I teach political science and American government is my day job, and when I'm not there, you can find me at the ball field rooting on my twin boys or at dance or gymnastics with Lizzie Grace. Between that, I stress relieve running virtual 5Ks at Scott Park, so I'm only running and beating myself. and at the Pew at Church. Essentially, what rallied me to this, because I do it for a living, and goodness knows my hands are full and my heart already is too, are the utility bill prices that we see in the city of Camden. I don't know for you all, but I'm a single income household here. I served in the South Carolina National Guard years ago. I've been a military wife for some time. That too came to an end, as all good things do. But for homes like mine, out in Sunny Hill, our utility bill is drastically, for basic service and needs. I know it says it's a 5% fuel charge and an additional 10%, but with inflation and everything else, in houses like mine, it's looking more like 30%. When I'm looking at a car payment to haul my wonderful kids to school and to ball practice, and to have to come off $500 a month just for a basic need, gosh, I mean, that's the reason I threw my hat in the ring. When I asked Jeffrey Graham and other incumbents to comment, there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing that can be done. And I'm sorry, I just don't accept that. There has to be something. I'm not gonna stop without getting the answers that you all and myself are constantly asking. But my plan goes further than that. Last week I put out a 3-point plan. If you looked at the City of Camden website, it's incredibly dated for a municipal level thriving economy that we have here with soaring businesses outside of horses and antiques. We have great bookstores. We have shopping all down Main Street. Why is our city webpage so dated and hard to find facts and even harder to get in touch with local representatives? Step one is what appears to be a basic point of my plan. Revitalize that webpage. Bring Camden into today's world where we're competitive outside our service region with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Although I'm not necessarily a social media guru, it would be great to have individuals from outside of our service region stop in, buy some coffee, see what the town green has to offer. Step two, I think after speaking with Hamilton, we both agree an added level of trust in government's needed here. There's 2 open seats. All right, it's a nonpartisan ballot. We are 2 of the 3 candidates that are vying for these positions, though. I think we agree on the transparency in government as a fundamental need in Camden. When you have closed door sessions at 4 o'clock on a Monday, not many people can swing that. The county has the technology to live stream these meetings. What's the city members doing behind these closed doors that we're not privy to? If elected, what I would hope is support to make these between 5:30 and 6 socials. We do that all the time at the community college. Get here a little early, speak to the executive leaders, communicate with the people. That'd be nice, right? And of course, it's civil and respectful. I'm not that kind of gal. And then from 6 to 7, let's have a meeting. And for those of you that have kids that might be sick, or pets that need walking, live Zoom in, live stream it. So you're informed just like the rest of us. My third plan, or point to this campaign plan, will upset a lot of folks. That's point number 3. If you were to buy a local business here in Camden, you'd want to see the books. You'd want to see where your money's going, what the standing of the economy really looks like, if it's going to generate wealth, what's that 3- and 5-year return on investment? That's what I hope to achieve, and have the support from fellow council members like Mr. Hamilton to get achieved. As we develop this information, what would be great is to follow back with point 1 and update this this audit in dashboards. I believe the budget should be a living document, not one that's reviewed yearly, one that's reviewed monthly, with quarterly reports so you know where your money's going. I've got you, May. Thank you for having me.
Okay, our next candidate is Hamilton Boykin. He is his parents, McKee and Olivia Boykin here in Camden, met his wife during college, lived in Charleston with 2 children, moving to Camden in 2019. He is employed with Leica Camera Incorporated, which is an international company for the past 14 years, works remotely here from Camden. His wife works part-time, and their 2 children attend Camden Public Schools. He attends Grace Episcopal Church, and since returning here in Camden, learning how unique the city is and the citizens, and reinforce the reality of living in such a unique community. As an adult, has been working and eye-opening, and has led to see how he can become part of the process here of grading Camden into the future. His concerns include the following: balanced growth, both residential and commercial, preserving of the history and charm of our historic town, the inevitable needs to include the noise, pollution, traffic, speeds in our city streets, and for training for emergency vehicles and management and overseeing of our utilities. I give you Hamilton.
Thank you all very much. It's Hamilton Boykin. First of all, thank you, Maggie May, for being here. It was kind of an exciting prospect to have you join in, because when I joined the race this summer, I thought that it was going to be just me against 2 incumbents, and that what could I do just by myself. But the fact that there could be 2 new seats on the city council, I think actually creates a whole lot better environment for change. So I hope that we're both successful at this venture, because change in Camden is, I think, important. We've got to guard what's good, but we've got to fertilize and tend and grow what we have room to grow, what we should grow. Bless you. For what I want for this town, I will start by saying I grew up here, and as you heard an introduction, and I left at 16. I've lived in Asheville, North Carolina. I've lived in Middleburg, Virginia, and I've lived in Charleston, South Carolina. And I've seen what various southern communities can do with the natural beauty, the historical elements of their towns, how they can maximize that, capitalize on it. So let me back up and say that the reason I got involved with this campaign was not for utilities. It happened long before that. I saw what has historically been the stagnation of Camden, and now we're starting to see growth. But the growth is, which I vehemently want the growth for Camden, but it's got to be focused growth. It's got to be smart growth. It's not just willy-nilly. Let's put up slab home communities wherever we want them. Let's not just bring in any retail establishment to any location we can. Let's try to focus on getting the quality growth and quality residential growth, quality commercial growth, bringing in employers as well. So that was my focus. This whole utilities crisis, and that's what I call it, as a crisis, because it's a financial crisis for a lot of families here in town. That has just added sort of motivation to get this done and to be a city councilman here. As far as the things that I am focused on for what I want to achieve out of being on city council, it would start with our services, the city police, city fire. It was a little bit choppy in the introduction, but I've been told by friends who are in law enforcement that there is training available to our fire departments that they're not getting. That it is taking too long to get people out of cars and wrecks when they might be in danger if they're not getting out sooner or being gotten out sooner. There's training available to them that has been offered that has not been taken up. The opportunity has not been taken up on. Our law enforcement, when I grew up in Camden, you didn't go over 5 miles an hour over the speed limit in Camden. You respected the laws. Now people come across Hopkirk Hill like the Dukes of Hazzard doing 10, 15, 20 miles an hour. Yeah, I can almost hear yee-haw from my house sometimes because we live on Hopkirk. So the speeds that people are driving, the noise, the livability, I want to sort of give our law enforcement agencies a little bit more motivation to try to bring things back down to a civilized level on our streets. I hear complaints from people all the time about how fast people are driving. We've all heard about the Mill Street debacle. Somebody joked about the Saturday night drag races on Mill Street. My mom lives on the corner of Mill Street. These houses blow, or these cars blow by her house all the time. Commercial and residential smart growth, support of our services, both fire and law enforcement, and then as Dr. Maggie said, the communication coming out of our city hall. She very correctly pointed out the website being so antiquated. I tried to find who the chief of the police and the chief of the fire department were to be able to try to contact them and let them know that I was running for council, and I couldn't find their contact info on the city website. So I've been told I have to wrap up, but here we go.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, now, are there any questions out here in the audience? Respectful questions, please. Yes, sir?
Said that the fire department fellows missed some training opportunities. Were those funded already, and why did they miss those opportunities?
It's back channel information that I hear from friends in the community who are in the know, and they have told me that there have been free training opportunities on new equipment been offered to the fire department that has been refused, and that it's for personality issues. I'll leave it at that.
No information on that. I'll check and get back to you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, you guys got off easy, so she started, so you have a 1-minute wrap up.
First of all, thank you for your time. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it very much. And just know that I am someone who loves this community. A year before we moved home, I would have never thought of moving back to Camden. And then 6 months after we got here, I couldn't be happier. And I want to be a positive influence on the community. And that's why I'm running, is because rather than be someone on the outside complaining, I figured I'd throw my hat in the ring and try to be a part of the solution.
Thank you again. I just want to remind everyone that there are 2 seats open. Again, nonpartisan municipal elections, so you don't run on party ticket or party line. So anyone can vote. Also, it's not closed primary season like other states. Again, you have an incumbent, Jeffrey Graham. Mr. Hamilton Boykin will appear. Should you say to heck with Mr. Graham and his career politician antics, then circle the bubble, write my name in. I would appreciate it. You can check my website out at votemaggieMay.com and on Facebook. I'll leave you with this, that over the weekend when I was walking and canvassing, knocking on doors and meeting people, these fine neighbors of mine spent their Saturdays on their porch shaking my hand, out on their lawn, getting to know each other. And you don't have to go far and wide to see interesting people and amazing events that this town puts on. I think we're very fortunate to live in a hometown that has such a spirit, and I hope that you'll give me the opportunity to advocate more on those lines. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Pictures.
Oh, wait, it's a skeleton.
M-A-Y. Okay? All right, now the one I know everybody for is our school board.
No.
Nope. Okay, all right, she's doing the pastor.
School board's last.
Pass the collection plate and praise the Lord.
Over the past several months,
Probably read my first.
Pastor Marvin Jones has came to the Fairfield County GOP meeting several times.
But I saw him somewhere else, I can't remember where that was. But I believe to date I've seen him 4 times. And let me tell you, the first thing that strikes me about Pastor Jones is his sincerity. Maybe sincerity creates greatness, I don't know. But he is a man who has humbled himself before the Lord in his career, in his life. He has done what the Lord has asked him to do. And he says that the Lord has asked him to run. And I believe the Lord has, because I did a little praying on himself. So I give you Pastor Marvin Jones.
Thank you. I don't know for sure if I need this, but I'm going to use it. What's that?
Henry insists.
I do? Okay.
Henry insists.
If I start talking a little bit louder, I'll drop it down. How about that? No. I don't want to hurt y'all's ears. I think I got 30 minutes, she said. Okay. Well, I'm going to try to speak very fast.
Not too fast, we want to understand.
Well, I got about 45 minutes of stuff here, so. But anyway, my name's Marvin Jones. I'm a pastor of Second Chance Fellowship, and we have been praying about this for years. Actually, 3 years. We actually moved from where we was at last year. We sold our house in November in Valley Park, just so that we could be in house seat 50. And we sold the house in November, moved to Cassett, and then when they redrew the lines, they actually put our old house in house seat 50. So it's all good. It's all good. We have been praying about doing some things that we feel like is needed. My wife's a public school teacher for 27 years, and we have seen some things that needs to change. And I have 3 kids. I have a senior, I have a sophomore, and I have a 4th grader. And one of the biggest reasons I'm running is for them and for my grandkids. I ain't got none yet, but the Lord's willing, in 10 or 15 years, I will. But that's one of the biggest reasons I'm running. Because I want to tell you, I can look and I can tell. My wife, she's at a football practice right now. She couldn't be here. She helps me with my words. But I think the word of the day is infiltrate. I think I look at our government a lot of times. They infiltrate not only our churches, our schools, and they can even infiltrate our lives. And give you a quick example. One of the members of our church 2 years ago asked me to do their wedding. And he said, but I need you not to turn in the marriage license. And I said, hold up, time out, why? And he said, I can't tell you. I said, well, I tell you what, we're both going to go home and pray about this thing. And we come back in 3 days, you got to tell me. We came back and he said that him and his wife, or soon-to-be wife, his girlfriend, they both drawed a check. And if they got married, one of their checks would be cut out. And I said, that's not right. Because the problem is our government is infiltrating not only our family, but also our lives. I mean, you think about it. For my wife and I, when we was told that we couldn't have no kids, man, we was begging Jesus and everybody else that we wanted children. And they told us we couldn't have kids. I would never have think about aborting a child. So I look at the way our government is doing things, and listen, there's some good things that they're doing, but there's some things that we need to polish. We need to support our veterans. There should never be a veteran that's homeless. There should never be a veteran that's on the street begging for food. We need to support our officers. We need to support our first responders. We need to support all of our people, and one of the ways we do that is working together. I don't care if it's a Republican, Democrat, Independent, some Joe Blow on the side of the road. We got to all work together, because if we don't, at the end of the day, we're pulling ourselves apart. And that's one of the things we got to do. So I believe that it's important for us to work together. So how much longer I got? 1 minute. Okay, perfect. So, years ago, I was a small business owner. Believe it or not, I'm a pastor, but I used to be a car dealer. And I own a car dealership. And let me tell you, one of the problems I see is there's so many great small businesses that's been pulled around by different rules and regulations that really don't mean a whole lot. I got a good friend of mine that I talked to a couple days ago, and that was happening to him. And, I just made a phone call to DHEC in Sumter and talked to them, the wonderful people, and it straightened it all out because we work together. Not that I call someone and fuss at them, but I call them and I work together with them. Let me know when I got 30 seconds. I got a story.
You're there.
I'm there? Okay. All right, let me tell you this quick story. I got 5 pages of notes that I want to tell you. So, 26 years ago. Well, let me back up. You're going to have to give me an extra 30 seconds. I messed it up. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. And bless your heart in a good way, okay?
Yes.
Young man going through school, little boy, started at Midway Elementary. He was good at sports, but he was dumb as a brick. Couldn't read, couldn't write, but he was good at sports. He was passed on, went from 6th grade to North Central. Good at sports, and he kept playing, and he kept getting passed on. He graduated high school at North Central on a 5th grade reading level. Yep. Went to work right afterwards, moved out from mom and dad. 5 years went by. If you don't read, you don't succeed.
That's right.
So that 5th grade reading level went to a 3rd grade reading level. He worked at Burger King, he worked at McLaughlin Ford in Sumter, then he worked at the cotton mill that used to be called Kendall. He met this young lady. It was a godly Christian woman. He was lost as all get out. They started dating. She realized he was dumb as a brick. He couldn't spell. He couldn't read. She started teaching him how to read.
My God.
3rd grade reading level. He couldn't even hardly spell the word like. She started teaching him the Bible. Started teaching him how to read a devotional. And he began to learn more and more every single week. She took interest in this young fella that couldn't read. Fast forward. I'm going as fast as I can. Fast forward. I know. Fast forward. She ended up marrying me. I'm talking about me. That's why I said dumb as a brick. She encouraged me to go to college. I graduated with an associate's degree. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in theology. I graduated with a master's degree in ministry. Plan on going to get my doctorate. But let me tell you something. I'm passionate about education because I was blessed to have met a young lady that did that for me. A lot of people aren't. So, all right, that's it. Thank you. Okay.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Pastor Jones? Any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome to the political arena.
Yes, I know.
Got a lot of people in here for first-time candidates, and I'll tell you what, I feel you when you're talking about working with people. I don't know if you're aware of this, but and you're a Republican, and within our party, and I'm not afraid to address it directly, but within our party, we've got some divisions. Okay, some divisions. They're kind of causing us to work against
can I ask you a question?
After, because you're.
After.
Everybody else has to talk.
Okay.
He was right, he didn't need this microphone.
Yeah. I'll say as long as you want.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, is that it?
That's it.
That's it. Thank y'all.
All right, now, school board, okay? We have 4 in attendance. We have 3 here tonight for District 2 and 1 for District 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ask District 6, Brittany Robinson, to come one up front, please. Okay. Brittany Robinson, the seat she's after consists Bethune, Cassett, Timrod, Abney, Mount Pisgah. She has lived in Cassett for the last 6 years with her husband Ray and their 6 children.
I know.
She has a school at home.
Yes.
Brittany has spent the last 6 years as an educator here in South Carolina. She began her career in Lee County at West Lee Elementary, where she witnessed a broken education system. There she taught 3rd grade at Heath Springs Elementary in Lancaster, South Carolina, and was a candidate, in 2018-2019 Lancaster County Teacher of the Year. Candidate. I did say candidate. Okay. Brittany worked for Kershaw County Schools at Lugoff Elementary. In 2022, she decided to leave her job to run for Kershaw County School Board. During her time as an educator, Brittany served as a mentor for at-risk students. She is currently going for her master's degree at Coker University in instruction, curriculum, and technology. I give you Brittany Robinson.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to run. After teaching in the public school system for 6 years, I've seen so much, and I've worked with so many different kinds of students. And the reason that I chose to run is that our biggest and best investment that we can make is in the education of our children. Because they are the next generation, and they need good leaders. They need people that they can look up to, that they can rely on, and that will be there for them. And we have the opportunity to be that for them, because sometimes they don't have it at home. I was a mentor. I did mentor an at-risk student last year, and I benefited from it probably more than he did. And if we had something like that district-wide, that would be so beneficial, because I thought about it one day. I was looking at my students. More than half my students do not have a 2-parent household, and that can be very detrimental in so many ways. So a district-wide mentoring program would be so beneficial for academic success, behavior problems that we've been seeing. Another thing is Dads on Duty. Dads on Duty is not my idea. I got it from my mom. She heard about it in Louisiana. They are men who are coming into our schools. They are background checked. They are screened. They are the eyes and ears. They are there to protect, build relationships with these boys who might not have a positive role model at home. And I've seen the positive effects of having those positive male role models with the SROs in our schools. The SRO at Lugoff Elementary would take the time to come out and recess with my students and throw the football. My students got so excited. It was like the highlight of their day. So that's another thing that we can do in our schools to help reduce our behavior issues and just keep our schools safe. School safety is a critical issue that we need to address, and I really think preventatively we can do that with Dads on Duty, with a mentoring program. Supporting our teachers. I'm a teacher. A lot of teachers feel like our parents are out to get them,
but I want to be able to build relationships between our parents and our educators, because so many times when I was a teacher, it would be like, oh, just if Johnny's done, just call me back. If we can figure out a way to build those relationships between the parents and the teachers, that would also reduce behavior issues, but it would build community, and it would make everything work so much better. I am a firm believer in transparency. I've been transparent this entire time I've been running. I am not afraid to say how I feel, and how I feel right now is we need to put God back in our schools. The moment we took God out of our schools, that's the moment we have all this garbage coming in our schools. I am against CRT, and it's not just a law school course. It was in my graduate program. There was mandatory undergraduate trainings. It is not just a law course. So do not believe that lie. I could talk forever. And then support for our students. Like I said, our students are the most important thing, and my dedication to running, and I want to win, and it's shown because I come here, I come speak. My opponent does not. My opponent chooses not to come. So if you are in District 6 or you know someone in District 6, please spread the word. I need all the support I can get. I'm a Yankee, so I'm not from here, but my opponent is, and I just need you guys to help me get the word out. Thank you.
Stay put. There are 2 questions that I'm going to put forward to you. The STEM program has been greatly diminished in our recent years because it has not been funded in our school district budget. Are you aware? What can you do? And what classes could be replaced?
So that's an interesting question. I was a STEM leader at Heath Springs Elementary, so I love STEM. I always try to incorporate STEM in every single thing that I did. I went to a bunch of trainings on it. I love how they integrate things. I do realize that there's not enough time to teach STEM in the curriculum. So the first thing that should be looked at is a cost analysis of our school district budget. What can go, what can say, how can we reallocate some funds for STEM? What can go?
There's a lot that can go.
There is a lot that can go.
We get rid of diversity.
Well, you guys just answer the questions for me. Yeah, sex ed right now it's not a mandatory thing. That could probably go because that starts in 5th grade. Good question. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, there's one more question. Our recent school card did not show excellent school ratings for Kershaw County. Any ideas on how to make our schools better?
Okay, so Midway Elementary's 1st grade has a class that is a transition class, and what a transition class is a smaller group of kids, and it has 2 teachers. It has the lead teacher and it has the assistant teacher. My daughter last year came in reading at like an A level, and she grew massively being in this transition class. And if we could figure out how to reallocate those funds so we can have more transition classes with smaller class sizes, 2 teachers, I mean, that is an ideal situation, I know that, but if we could figure out how to do more of that, I really believe that we would see so much growth in these students that are falling behind.
Okay, you have 1 minute now to say whatever you want to say.
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Brittany. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm really passionate about winning. I'm really passionate about education. I'm a teacher. I did quit my job so I could run because this has turned into a full-time job. But I really do believe that our students are the biggest and best investment that we can make, and we have the opportunity to be involved in our schools and to make a positive change. And it's going to take support from the whole community. And I really would appreciate you guys spreading the word however you can, and appreciate it.
Thank you. three that are coming up are for District 2. If I can get Mark Surrey, Nathan Green Jr., and Donald R. Reeves Jr. up here. It's the come on down. All right. Hey. Okay, Donald R. Reeves is a retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel with a long service record of 33 years. He currently works for a U.S. government contract as a strategic logistician. Thank you. Military exercise and training planner. He is a graduate of the United States Army Command and Staff College, holds an MBA from the University of Mary, Brunswick, North Dakota, okay, and a Bachelor of Science degree from Excalibur University, New York, New York. Don is a two-time Operations Iraq Freedom Combat veteran, and has combat at the okay. Anyway, I give you Donald Reeves.
Thank you, ma'am. As she said, I'm Donald R. Reeves Jr. My dad was a Marine Corps vet for Vietnam. He did a good job raising two boys. We had a great school system where we grew up. And I'd like to see the type of school system I grew up outside of St. Louis, we were kind of rural, happen here. We've been here since 2014 now, and two of my sons have graduated from Lugoff, and I've got one daughter who's still there at the high school, and I got a grandson that's over at Adobe Elementary. The reason I want to run is because, like every good soldier, I always keep my eye open for the enemy. And folks, America and the education system, the families and the parents are absolutely under attack.
My God.
We are. The fiber of this country is the American family, the church, and the education system. Children are so vulnerable when they are in K-5 through K-12, they will believe anything because they don't have the judgment set in their biology to make good decisions, and that's why God made us parents, to help them through those times. I saw a guy on Facebook, he said, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a pirate. I'm glad nobody took me seriously. They'd have plucked my eye out, cut my leg off, and give me a peg leg. And that's what they're doing now. We have parents that are abusing children, and we have this agenda that's coming at us from all sides. And right now, there's evidence that we have critical race theory in the Kershaw County District. There's a lack of transparency for parents who want to find out things like what's in my library or what's going on. I just went to a school board meeting, and in that school board meeting I found out that if I come up in the public forum and I talk to a member, and Mark is in my district, Mark can't respond to me in the public forum. The people that died over there that worked with me and defended this country would find that appalling. Because the public forum is where you're held accountable, not after the meeting. If you look at the 1967 State Supreme Court ruling, it says all business happens in that forum. All decisions are made in that forum. It's done in a public forum for a reason. If I got a beef with Mark, I want Mark to respond, even if it's, hey, Don, you know what? That's valid. He's validating me. He's giving me dignity in the public square. And I think that's where we need to be, but that's not where we are. Okay? This is not personal, Mark. But what are they hiding? I'll tell you what they don't want. We live in a cancel culture. This is why teachers are afraid. I'm going to be their advocate. My first 30 days in that seat, I'm going to do what the Army's taught me to do. I'm going to analyze the enemy. I'm going to find out where you are. And when I find out where you are, I'm going to shine a big light on you and watch the roaches run. And then I'm going to fall back on my team, and you guys are the team, and I'm going to say, this is what we need to do here in order to get that parental transparency back. So there's only one thing I achieved in 4 years. I want to stop the woke agenda. I want to build a bulwark of policy against the woke agenda, because that's what we need to do as board members. Protect the children and make sure they're getting real education. Right? Okay, thank you.
Okay, our second candidate tonight is Nathan Green Jr. Nathan is a retired U.S. Army veteran with 20 years of active duty service. He currently serves as senior pastor at New Beginning Family Worship Center. Nathan is married to the former Wendy Hampton, and they have 3 children, all of whom are in Kershaw County school graduates. Kendrick, a graduate at Johnson and Wales University, and is currently head chief in Charlotte, North Carolina. Andrea is a graduate of USC Aiken and works at Human Resources Center representative for Dick Hudson Automo Group in North Charleston. Ryan is a graduate in Central Carolina and the lead musician at New Beginning Family Worship Center. Nathan earned his BS degree in psychology from Troy State University and his MA degree from Grand Canyon University in Christian Ministries. After retiring from the Army, Nathan and his family moved back to Kershaw County, where he spent the last 7 years as an instructional assistant in special needs in classrooms. They now reside in Elgin and have been residents since March of 2020. I now give you Nathan Green Jr.
Wow, I haven't had this many people clap for me in a long time. First of all, I want to say it's a pleasure and an honor for me to stand here amongst you all. I thank all of you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir, as well, for what you just spoke about. I appreciate it. Mr. Suri, and I thank you for your service, sir.
Yes,
Because I'm sure that your heart is always in the right place, and it's always for to make sure our children have the best education possible. So I just want to thank you for that as well. I stand before you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as a humble person. I'm not a politician. Never claimed to be. All I am is a parent who once was right for all children. And just as Mr. Reed said, that's the right for a great education. Kershaw County, why not us? Everyone looks at other counties right around us. They're doing great, but ask yourselves, why not us? What is it that we need to do to fix this? My slogan is each one reach one. What does that mean? Basically, we do a lot of this. I feel like if we all, it's everyone's responsibility to ensure that every child has a great education. When I say everyone, I mean that goes from the parent all the way up to the school board representative. And what we need to do is come together, as has already been spoken. We need to come together, each one, at each level, reach one child. If you and I come together and we reach one child, that child is going to reach someone else, and then that one's going to reach someone else, and guess what? Eventually, it is going to be us. And we won't have to ask that question again, why not us? Ladies and gentlemen, I came from Harlem, New York City. My parents raised me. Neither one of my parents had a college degree. My dad, he was not the best student. I'll just put it to you like that. But my mom was raised here in Camden. And she actually was born in Lee County. And so I'm very familiar. But they stressed education. They felt it was very important for us, myself and my siblings. When I was in the military, I was what we call a non-commissioned officer. All 20 years, I served people. I wasn't a servant. I wasn't served, I was a servant. All my life I've been a servant. As a pastor, I was a youth pastor. I currently work with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes right now in Kershaw County. And I was at the Boys and Girls Club. And so I'm telling you this because I want you to understand my track record. Again, I'm not here to get a title. I'm here because my heart is for the kids. And so that's my purpose here, that's my agenda, and that's what I'm giving you, straight from my heart. But thank y'all so much for this opportunity, and I'm going to hand the mic over.
Okay, our last one tonight is Mark Surrey. Mark and his wife, Carol, celebrated 30-year wedding anniversary this past June. Mark and Carol moved to Elgin on May 15, 1996. They have 2 children, Jessica and Mark. Both are graduates of the Lugolf Elgin High School. They are proud grandparents of Everly and Miles. Everly is in kindergarten at Camden Elementary. Mark served in the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Air Force Reserve for 10 years. Mark participated in Operation Provide Comfort in support of the no-fly zone over northern Iraq after the first Gulf War. Mark is currently the Director of Information Technology for Disaster Resource Group and DRG Technology Services. He received his AS degree in Electronic System Technology and the Community College of the Air Force. Bachelor degree in Computer Information Systems from DeVry Institute of Technology, and his Master of Arts in Business from Webster University. Mark's involvement with education began when Carol volunteered for Blaney Elementary Improvement Council when Jessica began 4th K. Mark served in Middle School Improvement Council leadership positions at Blaney Elementary, Stover Middle School, Lugolf Elgin High School. He served as parent representative for ATEC. He also was a member of the superintendent parent cabinet for multiple years. Mark also served on the calendar committee for the school district. He served as a parent representative when the school district hired a new principal over at Stover Middle School. Mark is proud of his 20 years of service to the school district as involved parent and school board trustee. I now give you Mark Surrey.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting me out here. The school district is a wonderful place, and our teachers, our parents, the taxpayers of this county, and they deserve all the respect we can give them. I give them respect by being in the schools. I am seen in Blaney, Stover, Doty's Mill on a very regular basis. I go to the adult ed education graduation at WTC. I go to the cosmetology graduation. I also attend the FFA banquets when they have them. And I do that to support this entire school district. Every administrator in this school district knows who I am, and I'm regularly seen throughout the entire county. And I believe that is very important because as a school board member, I'm 11% of the governing body that supervises the superintendent of the school district. So to get anything done, it takes 5 people or 55%. So you have to work together, and that's the best thing about being in a nonpartisan position on the school district, is that you throw your political differences aside and you focus on what's best for your children. And that has been an absolute honor. And when I go into the schools, the first thing I do is I thank a teacher, whether it's the first time or the 15th time I've met them, and thank them for continuing to be part of Kershaw County and continuing to teach within this county, because it's very important. In fact, I was in Stover Middle School at their open house a couple weeks ago. I met 2 teachers, one had come over from Richland 1 and the other one from Richland 2. You know what they told me? They were ready to quit education, but they decided to move counties and come over to Kershaw because they heard we were different. And what they said, coming to Kershaw County, they renewed their spirit in being a teacher. And they said they hadn't felt this good about teaching in years. So there was an awful lot of good things coming on. And as Don mentioned, yes, it is school district policy. If you go to our Kershaw County website, you go under leadership, there is a link for our board policies. And all those board policies, the board approves them, And we also work through the South Carolina School Board Association to have valid and updated policy. So it is a policy that, yes, when you address the board, if there's less than 6 speakers, you get 5 minutes apiece. We allow up to 30 minutes. Beyond that, then it's divided up by the total number of speakers, and that's been board policy before I came on the school board. And I actually met Don Friday night, and Don asked me some questions, and what I do, Don, I just told you the best answer I could give, right? I didn't say, no, we're running against each other, I'm not gonna tell you a thing. You really answered the question, right?
No, he answered the question.
Yes. So I am approachable. Don just said so.
Hey, y'all have a tough decision between the three of us.
All right.
Yes,
I'll give examples.
Come on.
But no, so our biggest thing is, for me, is supporting the teachers. When I came on the school board, Rose Shaheen was still the principal of Blaine Elementary. Her and Lisa Carter, School Improvement Council was not a checkbox. They actually made us involved, and we made things happen. So that's how I grew. I grew from the ground up of what was going on in the schools. So that's my initial spiel. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys, you get the same 2 questions. And I'm going to start with Don over here. And each one of you will get a minute to respond. The STEM program has been greatly diminished in recent years because it has not been funded in the school district budget. Are you aware, and what can you do?
If you went to last Tuesday's school board meeting, you saw the metrics that came out for the testing, and one of the things that the superintendent did mention is that the lack of funding on the mathematics side had a direct effect on our scores being lower. So I am aware of that. So I agree with Brittany on a couple ways to get after it. The best way to get after it is STEM is not for everybody. You have to have an aptitude for it. That's number one. If you have the aptitude for it, it takes up a lot of your time. And I know personally because I got one cyber son who is cyber operations in the United States Army. And he had a bone-crushing academic program that took him 2 years to get through for the Army. And then I've got another daughter who's finishing up her double E. None of these are easy, right? But you have to have the aptitude for it. So the curriculum has to be changed. We got to look at what are we funding that's not STEM? Because STEM is what makes us competitive. But you also can't forget about allied trades and things that we need locally too. All right? Bill Gates has solved the grammar and the spelling problem, so I think we could put some more money on the STEM side. All right? So that's one of the things that I will definitely look at. Of course, you can see my children's careers. I support that, absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Green.
Thank you so much.
Same question.
Yes, totally agree with Mr. Reeves. STEM is very important, but it's not for everyone. Aptitude is very important when it comes to that. I look at it as the SEGO, what we call the SEGO program here, and I feel as if we can not replace but transition SEGO into STEM, maybe that will be an option. Instead of, and I don't know if anyone's been in the SEGO or saw the SEGO classes and have seen the curriculum, but it's sort of the same. So if we would transition from SEGO and change that to STEM, I think that would be a good solution to that.
Okay, Mark Surrey. Same question.
From what I understand, some state standards have changed, so as the state standards change, the funding changes. But what we are doing is excellent. If you go out to the World Technology Center, we have an excellent mechatronics program that has grown. We have an excellent carpentry program. We have an auto body shop that a young lady is just taking names and doing well. We have graduates from ATEC who became a welder. He's making over $150,000 a year because he was so specialized. So there's opportunities in the trades, and I am a significant supporter of the trades because coming up as an enlisted airman, I started out in radar maintenance and I worked on the weapons release systems of the F-16. So I'm very big into the trades, and it leads everywhere from the trades.
Thank you. Yes.
Can I follow on? Because that was my question, okay? So, and I thought maybe I could just a smattering of background for the question for the
Go ahead.
benefit.
Go for it.
I know.
Henry doesn't have.
Y'all indulge me so much.
Our recent school card did not show excellent. School ratings for Kershaw County. Any ideas on how to make our schools better?
So I can tell you from personal experience that any child that went through COVID lockdown is not the same child that's in school right now.
That's right.
So I'm not blaming it on COVID because we're parents and we have a responsibility to keep the children up. But I will tell you this, some of those kids went into deep depression, and even though you brought them back, they've still not recovered from that. And you can't teach that out of them, okay? We can protect them in the future by never letting that happen again. That's what you do. That's what I'm running on. How do I protect them in the future? How do I build that bulwark that keeps the enemy from getting in? The infiltration, like Pastor said. I'm your infiltration expert. I was a sergeant too, by the way. And I've been the infiltrator. All right? So I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's a combination. It's not just that teachers aren't doing their job or it's money. You got to look at what we just came out of and what kids are going through. And I don't have the answer for that. I really don't. But I know there's a lot of prayer that needs to happen. Mark, do you guys know?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. As I said earlier, I came from a household where we didn't have college degrees. But I feel like it begins at home.
Yes.
We have to teach our children about discipline. We have to teach them how important it is to study and also to behave properly when you go to school.
Amen.
So it's alarming to see that in a classroom day, 85% of the class is spent on behavioral issues. That's a problem. That starts at home. All of that, the grades, the scores, all of that, again, it starts at the home. Discipline begins at home, and so that's ground zero. So I'm a product of that. So I believe strongly in that, and all of my children have college degrees because of that. So that's my answer.
You need the question
Yeah.
again? I'll read it again. I'm sorry. Our recent school card did not show excellent school ratings for Kershaw County. Any ideas on how you can make our schools better?
At the next board meeting, the superintendent will be presenting an initial plan how we're gonna bring up the math scores. And one of the things he said that was, we focused a lot on reading right at pre-COVID and during COVID. And the problem was students can go home and read, but students are not gonna go home and do math worksheets to keep up their math skills. So there is gonna be a plan announced in the next board meeting on how we're gonna address that as a school district. That's number one. But two, under the last 8 years I've been on the school board, the school district has done a lot of work. We passed the bond referendum, we built multiple new infrastructure. The new WT Center is right across from Central Carolina. We have a good partnership. Students in the high schools can easily get 30 to 60, basically graduate with an associate's degree by the time they graduate with their high school degree. So we are working quickly. We've also worked to bring in more mental health services into the schools. We have medical, and 4 years ago we had very little. So we have done a lot of work trying to provide mental health, and also basically the governor said, you're gonna shut down the schools for COVID, and when we came back up, you're gonna wear masks. Now, as soon as the governor lifted the mask mandate and became that statute, we put masks as optional, and now I'd say it's somewhere between probably less than 5% of the students and teachers are still wearing a mask. But that was the greatest thing, and our teachers told us thank you for being a district that didn't believe that masks was going to save the world. So we've done our best. We have to stay in the guidelines of federal and state law. We don't have a choice. We're not anarchists. We follow the law. We follow society. But as soon as we get the option to do what we can to make our life better for our students and teachers, we do it. And in this area of the state, we are the best school district for management and for the freedoms our teachers and students have.
Just one more question. I didn't get a chance to write mine down. Today, a report came out where fourth graders and eighth graders in this country, through the 2 years of COVID lockdown, only 20%
It's a nationwide number. It's a nationwide issue. And, you know, you got to look at the funding streams that we have to fund the school. What is there, Mark? 70 different funding streams?
Between state and federal.
Yeah, I mean, so number one, we have people like Ms. Penry over here who needs to help us streamline how we get that funding. All right? Streamline how you get it, prioritize it, right? You want to be number one, you got to change the culture. I've been all over the world. South Korea. If a student in high school doesn't pass their university exam, they kill themselves. That's culture. I'm not saying we need to be that culture, but what I'm saying is the government makes a deal with those children. If you'll do well in school, if mom and dad will help you do well in school, we'll promise you that if you get to university, we're going to provide you a job and you won't have to leave South Korea. Welcome to LG Electronics or whatever. We don't do that in this country. We don't look down the pipe and we don't take the education dollars and put them where they absolutely need to be. You're right. We need some catch-up money. Right? We need some catch-up money. And I go back to the state senate for that. And simplifying this process of how do we get money all the way down to Kershaw County. If I had to do the paperwork for 60 to 70 streams of funding, I'd never get any school board time. Right? And who does that job? Because we're not paying them enough. So it goes back to, there's a direct correlation between funding and raising these things up. And I agree. We need those services, and we have to work as a team to get them. No one person's going to make that happen.
Yeah, funding. Money is the only solution, and it's such a blessing to have one of our own here, and who is hearing all of this, and who has the mantle, to help make those decisions, and that can help us. And it's just something that we have to keep on the front burner. You know, we can't just say, oh, we talked about it, we tried, and let's, throw it to the side. It needs to be, thank you, exactly.
It needs to be a national narrative.
Right, and it's something we need to continue to talk about, because once we stop talking about it, people forget about it. So.
Amen.
Yes, the school did receive COVID relief funds. A lot of those funds were used to pay teachers and tutor students after hours, and we're continuing to do that. And it's how do we bring more students to be able to do that. It was also used for extra cleaning in the schools, the heat monitors, the check for temperature, so it went to a lot of different things. So yeah, does everything go to the student? But when you look at your student basis costs, it's not just the teacher in the school, it's the utilities, it is the overhead, it is the retirement fund, it's the medical for the teachers. On average, the school district general fund budget's gone up a little over $3 million each year. And that's basically to help pay for increased requirements for funding the pensions, healthcare costs, the insurance for the buildings. North Central High School, luckily we had insurance on that, because that's about $60 million that we didn't have to pick up from the taxpayer because we had insurance. And I'm going to tell you, our previous superintendent, our previous CFOs, they fought tooth and nail with the insurance company to get every dollar, get them to approve for the complete rebuild of the school, because they wanted to, like, oh, we'll tear out this section, we'll leave this section. It's like, no, there's water in there, you're going to have mold issues. And we had to educate the insurance company on what the school facilities, the state agency would only accept. So it's an ongoing battle, but inflation eats up a lot of budget every year without even adding any headcounts. And we are currently working on adding more aides for our media center, so our media center specialists can spend more time with the children.
All right, Brittany wanted to answer that same question. She didn't get it earlier, so let's give her a chance.
I think going back to funding, looking at how our money is being spent, if an employee is working X amount of hours, are they being overly paid? Doing a cost analysis is going to be really important. And I want to go back to, yes, the ESSER funds did provide funding for after school, and it is being used, and it is beneficial. But as a teacher, I saw where students were being pushed. So I feel like if we took those funds and we figured out how to make the smaller class sizes where we can really give those students intervention, because we have a smaller amount of students as a teacher, and we didn't have a large group of students, but we could focus on those students that really need it instead of more students. Then that would be beneficial. Going back to those transition classes, there's so much growth that students make with transition classes.
Thank you.
Can I make one caveat? Just want to tell her.
Well, you can tell her in your minute that you're
Okay.
fixing to have, okay? You're closing.
Okay, great. Hey, I'm Don Reeves. I'm running for Kershaw County School Board seat number 2, and I really want your vote. And I want to build you into a lethal, safety, education, child lifting up, parent support, and transparent team. That's what I want. All right? I want to make change where we can make change that affects the student directly. I was going to ask you, I just slipped my mind, about control of the school calendar. A lot of problems that we have with teachers is we start them too late, and then we got this semester that runs into January. That never happened when I was a kid. And so the teachers are all right there behind the power curve from the get-go because we don't have control of the calendar at our level. If we had control of the calendar at our level, we could apply more time resources to making up for that COVID backlash.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I ask a question of America?
Can you hang on just a minute? Okay, let them do their minute, yeah, go ahead.
Again, Nathan Green Jr., U.S. veteran, also a combat veteran as well. I got a Bronze Star in Afghanistan. Not only was I on the front line in combat, but also in the classroom.
Yeah.
So with the experience that I have, which I also stopped doing last year as well, I'm here to help. And I'm here to be a part of the solution, not the problem. Thank you.
The calendar committee for the Kershaw County School District is made up of teachers and parents throughout the county. Basically, school improvement council members will come in. So the teachers and the parents work together to come up with the schedule. So this year we started earlier, but the semester will be done before the Christmas break. So the high school children will test out for the semester before the Christmas break. So we have alleviated that. The calendar is put together by the parents and the teachers, and then is presented to the school board for approval. So the school board has the community put that schedule together. So we empower the community to create that schedule. The school board does not dictate the calendar. The calendar comes from the teachers and it comes from the parents throughout the community. Thank you.
Okay, I am gonna give you a chance to ask your question. Go ahead.
As a parent of 2 kids in the public schools here, we participated in the calendar survey, and not one parent we know likes this August 1 starting back to school. We all think it's ridiculous. So how much weight is put on, are we just, do we just only know one subset of the parents, and all the other parents that we don't know think that going back August 1 is a great idea, or is there more weight put on another group as far as who has the most influence on how the calendar's done? Because as I say, I know no single parent, no individual parent that is happy with going back to school August 1.
I'm sorry, I actually love that too.
Really?
Because they get a break in the middle of the semester, and they don't have all that time during the summer to lose everything that they learned, so I am actually.
Okay, he's gonna ask the question, I'm just gonna add to it, can it be changed back if everybody does not like how this went, okay? So I added to your question, now I'm gonna give it to you, just real quick.
So to clarify, I wasn't saying that we didn't have input or built the calendar at the local level. What I'm saying is the state mandates in the law when we can start school. So there's left and right limits in there that do limit us the day we can start, the day we can finish. Am I wrong, Mark?
The earliest we can start.
Yeah. So I'll refer to my wife. She likes the current schedule, so I'm sticking with it. And I'll just push this over to Nathan.
Yes, dear. He's like, yes, dear.
Smart man. Truthfully, yeah. Look, when I was a teacher, I was one of the ones that voted for that schedule, and I did appreciate the break because when it comes that point in October, I believe it is, You're ready. The children are ready, and the teachers, believe me, are ready. So it's one of those things where I'm not sure how much influence the parents have in that vote, whether it's a percentage of who makes the decision, I don't know. But all I can tell you is that, yeah, I voted for that as well.
By state law, school isn't supposed to start till the third Monday of the month. We actually received a waiver to start earlier. So we received that waiver in order to get the school in before this semester, but that was a waiver granted by the state. We had to apply for that. But state law is the third Monday of the month. When my daughter first started, it was like August 1st, and we're like, what? I mean, I started August 25th up north. So it was a surprise, but then they changed the state law to start the third Monday, and then it still is the state law, but we were granted a waiver to start earlier. And and the calendar was passed for a 2-year cycle. So at that 2-year cycle, then we'll go back for review. Now, Mary Ann Bird was the district person that herded the teachers and the parents together. She is retired from the school district, so when that comes up again, Ms. Becky Dean, that will be one of her primary jobs during that calendar committee. But we did pass a 2-year cycle to give the parents more continuity on how to plan their schedules.
Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. I know there's more questions that you all want to ask. They're going to stick around for a little while, right? So you can talk with them individually. Our city council members are still here that are running. Well, one of them is. You can talk with him, ask him any more questions you have. It is getting late. I want you to be able to gather around and talk a little bit more. One thing I've noticed tonight is we've got a lot of veterans that are wanting to step up and do something in this country. And I totally appreciate that. I appreciate that in this point of your lives you could sit back and do nothing and just rake in the money from that retirement. But you've decided to stick in there and take it, and we appreciate it. So at this time, I thank you, and I'm going to give it back to Sissy Blue.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolutely wonderful meeting. Great candidates. We are very blessed to have the ability to choose from good people that want to do good things for us. Okay, now, this is a ladies' club, and we have a health coach who's a member of it. So we always give her a couple of moments. Now, Krishanda, I know you got a big old spiel for us, but you're going to have to do it all in about 90 to 120 seconds. Okay. Krishanda, y'all.
Hey, y'all, yes, I did have a page full of notes, so this is what I'm going to do. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? Okay. There's some research I want to give you for the breast cancer movement, but here's what I want you to consider for those of you who have not had your breast checked this month yet, okay? What you know about is you know about the mammogram. How many in this room know what a thermography is? Thank you so much. Only one person, so here really quickly I'm going to talk to you about it. So the reality is that mammography only benefits one woman out of every 2,000 that gets a mammogram, which actually harms 8 to 10 women through false alarms, missed cancers, unnecessary surgery, radiation, drugs, stress, and even has been shown to actually cause cancer.
The actual test?
The
test.
The mammogram, yes.
Wow.
I have a whole spiel that goes with it, but Sissy only gave me 90 seconds. So I want you to know that part about the mammogram, but don't panic. Here's the solution for you. Here's something for you to consider, okay? For those of you who know what a thermogram is, I'm so grateful that you do, but here's what thermography is and why you need to know about it. It's a much safer and more reliable cancer screening tool. So in a nutshell, this tool creates a digital map of your body that illustrates heat patterns. And so patterns that may detect some conditions or abnormalities. It uses a scanning type of infrared camera that measures your body's surface temperature, presenting the information as a digitized image, right? So in fact, it gives you reliable and accurate information for diagnosis, treatment, and prognosis. It is precise and objective data from accurate measurements of thermal information, and it's actually considered a financial savings over conventional investigations. In fact, what I love, it's called thermography, and I'm gonna give you a resource here in Columbia, South Carolina, that you can use for that in just one more second, because this is watching me.
I was
So-
gonna ask you to write anything down in an email, and I will send it to everybody
Yes.
in the room.
So I have the full, I'll give this to Tiffany to put out, the full email that has all of the links and references. Again, this is not Krishana's opinion. If you don't know me and this is your first occurrence with me, I'm a health coach who believes in prevention over prescription, because your body, you're the only one who lives in your body, right? It doesn't matter how many letters I have behind my name, or if I have a white coat, etc. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against doctors, right? They have their place, but you have to be your own health advocate. And so that's my job as your resident health coach, is to give you information so you can advocate for the best treatment protocols for yourself and your family. So keep that in mind. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There are other options that you can utilize to keep yourselves healthy, because really and truly, Steve Jobs, if he was still here, would tell you your health is your greatest wealth.
Amen. Thank you, Cassandra. Well, she will send me some information. We'll put a little package together and we'll send it out to you ladies, because breast cancer is something that we all need to know about. And it's not just women. Men get breast cancer too. All right, we're going to close this meeting. Our next meeting is our Christmas party. It's going to be right here, November the 28th. You can sign up with what you'd like to bring, whether it be a dessert or an appetizer. Sign-up sheets out by the front door. There will